Hey guys, Johnny here. Today's video is gonna be on we're gonna be multiple videos. The first video is gonna be on the patch, what they changed, what I thought of the changes. I've already played the events. As you know me, I'm big on events. I don't really play divisions anymore because I don't know, the players in the game and the certain cards, they're not really my type. So I have played some of the events. So as you can see, I completed a couple. Actually, not a couple. I just completed one event, but I played a few matches on them. So yeah, the patch. Right. So I have noticed a few things in terms of gameplay. We're gonna skip all the updates. We're just gonna go straight into the gameplay adjustments and fixes. So the first thing was dribbling. Right. So what they mean, please, and this is why I tell people to read. Although don't worry, I'll do the reading for you and I'll just explain what's happened. When they say improved dribbling, that doesn't mean they've improved our left stick and all that crap. They haven't improved left stick, forget it. If you're still turning, it's still how it was when you left. The only thing they've changed for dribbling is the use of R2 sprint or use of R1, depends on what button you use to sprint. So what it means is they've made it so your player can switch between normal sprinting with the ball and slowing down with the ball. So now the touches the player takes is probably going to be smoother than it was before, and the responsiveness of going from walking to running with the ball and then obviously running with the ball to slowing down is better. They've smoothened out animations. I can confirm that. I have tried it. Now, in terms of ball control, like traps, I have noticed this. So, for instance, when a person does a stunning pass or or your defender tries to control the ball from maybe an interception, or sometimes your player would just like quickly control it, which was a bit unrealistic in my opinion. They have changed that. I haven't really noticed as much as that, but it's been, I guess this is for people with pass support 3. You probably noticed that. I have noticed the next part of the first touch, which is the using the inside of the foot. So now it seems like they've added some animations where if the game notices that your player is going to take a touch and it will slow you down to an unrealistic state, it would use the inside of the foot to control the ball. So it's so it'd be more responsive. I have seen this. I have used Odegaard, the new Classic 10. He has controlled the ball with the inside of his foot a few times. Now, in terms of passing, right. I still think I don't know, because I use pass support 3, so I'm still seeing some issues, but I haven't noticed it yet. But you know when you press through ball and the ball, like your player looks like he's about to control it and then the ball goes past him, I think that's what that is. I haven't really noticed it yet. But what I have noticed is on pass support 3 is sometimes if I put the power let's say above half, it hits my player on the upper body instead of them controlling it. I don't know what that is. Maybe they need to add animation for that. They haven't done it yet. But in terms of the waist below, so from your waist to your legs, I haven't noticed the bug where the ball goes through your player, but from your waist to your like head or chest, from your waist to your chest, I have noticed still that there's sometimes it hits my player like he's not there, like it feels like he's a ragdoll. I have noticed that still. Right. So it seems for low passes, they've made adjustments so that the cursor will now switch to a more suitable teammate. I haven't noticed that. So I can't speak for that. Um, right. So it seems that most of these pass implementations are for pass support 1, pass support 2, I think. This doesn't really help pass support 3. So I can't speak on the rest of the passing, but what I can speak on for passing is um, they've definitely added new animations for outside curler players when attempting to pass the ball in the air with their foot. You know, when you try to do a pass when the ball's in the air. So that some of them, if they've got the outside of foot skill, they use outside of foot. I have seen Odegaard do it. And then I'm the player with high weak foot accuracy is literally what on FIFA you call 5-star weak foot. So now it's not only for passes, it's not only for shots, but now for passes as well. So if they do have a very high weak foot, the animation they use on the weak foot would be the same as pretty much on the right foot. So it's pretty good. Right. In terms of this seems like a very, I think this is gonna be a very underrated thing in terms of heading. I have seen new heading animations. What I will say is you're really gonna notice it if your player has the heading skill for downwards headers. Really good. That's all I've noticed in terms of heading. And I would say Fox in the box, if you do have Fox in the box, target men, probably, your tall strikers, deep lying forward, I think as well. If they do have the heading skill, I'd suggest putting more points into heading now because it seems they have buffed it. So I'm guessing people like Zamorano, who's a Fox in the box. There's a guy called Pizarro. Again, even Romario. A couple strikers here and there, or even centre backs now. So for corners, like it seems they have improved heading in terms of animations. So I would advise you guys to start heading the ball a lot more. Again, I'm not really right in terms of kicking. Again, I can't really speak for in terms of free kicks, but in terms of kicking, I have noticed that they have kind of changed the one-touch pass and one-touch shots after kick input. I was watching a stream, and he also, the issue is still there. They still sometimes, when you press X or your triangle or your circle, they still do an extra animation. I don't think they fixed that completely, but I can't really speak on that. Right. Defending. Okay, this right here is my bread and butter. You guys know me. I enjoy defending more on this game than dribbling. Don't ask me. I know I dribble a lot, but I prefer defending. And this is where I'm really critical on the game because I like to crush the opponent to the point where they feel that they can't dribble. They shouldn't even attempt to dribble past me. So that's me. Right. In terms of, I have noticed this in terms of tackling. That's why people like De Jong in centre mid was OP. People like who else? People like Iniesta, not Iniesta, sorry. People like Beckham, people like Xavi, pretty much orchestrators. Orchestrators were very OP in terms of defending because one, they had decent tackling stats, and two, their ball control was very high. So what would happen is when you tackle someone, they'd intercept the ball, but then when they take the ball from you, the ball is literally close to their foot. It's literally like they have instant glue on their foot. So that's why those orchestrators and people like build up CBs who are moved from CDM to centre back. So people like Rijkaard, people like Ed Milson, and then obviously De Jong. So what would happen is, as I mentioned, their ball control would also help, but now it's now it's depending on the tackling stat instead of ball control now. So those players will not be as effective in terms of winning the ball back from challenges, in terms of like the touches. So I wouldn't. So now I guess now we're going to see probably a change in midfielders. I'm going to see a lot of people use De Jong less, probably in defense. In terms of CDM role or centre mid role, it depends. I think now it's going to be really dependent on whether the player has the defensive stats in order to defend. So I'm guessing the higher the defensive stat, like in terms of tackling, the higher they are to control the ball. So now people like your Rijkaards, your Vieiras, your Makaleles, even your Casemiros, so now when they take the ball from the opponent, it wouldn't be as it's just literally the same as how your De Jongs were controlling the ball if their stats are high. In terms of blocking animation, I have been in situations where I cut inside and I haven't seen the guy on the line anymore. I need to play a few more games to justify that. But yeah. In terms of tackling, it does say if you have the when they attempt blocks, so if they don't have the sliding tackle skill, they will not attempt a slide tackle block. So again, this is why I always put slide tackling. If I can show you, I think my Rijkaard has it. As you can see, I've given Rijkaard slide tackling. See, I was always one step ahead because I just knew this game was gonna need you to require more skills. So what they've done now is, yes, if you remember the auto blocks, your players will sometimes slide tackle when attempting a block. Now your players don't do that anymore if they do not have the slide tackle skill. So if I were you, and my recommendation is put all the defensive skills on all the defensive players. So your Rijkaard. So I put blocker and sliding tackle on your defenders if you could. Same thing with your CDMs. I'll put sliding tackle and blocker on your CDMs. The rest is just hearsay. Oh, yes. They have fixed the most important, in my opinion, the most broken / important factor in the game. I have not played Divisions yet, so I can't speak for it myself. But for those of you that don't know, there was a bug in this game, not a bug, but there was an exploit in this game where a player, I'm going to say who it is, I'm going to say who you are, the players with no skill who relied on the bug would go in front, they would manually select their player on the corner and then put their player in front of your player near post, and it'd make sure they run around a few times just to see who is marking them. And then what would happen is when they whipped the ball in from the corner, the person who they were marking, your player would switch. It was so dumb. Like, you'd clearly stood in front of him, but the player would still switch to the person behind him. And they were exploiting that. And that's why there's a lot of people in the top 100 now who really and truly shouldn't be there, in my opinion, because they heavily relied on that. I want to see how they're going to play the game. I want to see how they rank this phase, because if they have fixed that, that will help with the skill issue, in my opinion. Because there's a lot of players in the Div 1 right now, maybe even Div 2, that abuse this mechanic. So, and most of their games are heavily reliant on this. I've seen a guy in who he is rank or has been rank 20 in the past. I have played him, and all he does is he does this for corners. That's all his goals come from. Near post and back post, he does the same thing. But yeah, so hopefully that has been fixed. Then right. I can't see anything else. Oh, here we go. They've added playstyles and improvements. This is AI. So players with a classic 10. So now they position themselves higher up the pitch. Oh, I can vouch for this. I have, as you can see, I have bought I have the new Odegaard. I have tried him. I have the Gunda one as well. These are classic 10s. I have noticed situations where they do break the line. Now, please, when they say position themselves higher up the pitch, that does not mean they're gonna make runs like a whole player. Like, just forget that. Like, do not assume that. All it's doing is now classic 10s are more likely to go beyond the defensive line when given the opportunity or when in space. So if I do a 1-2 with my classic number 10, he should go forward. But if there's no opportunity there for him to go forward, he's still going to stop. So he's still going to be a normal classic 10, how it is normally. But there's certain situations where, for instance, if there's a gap there and he's asking the ball to feet, he will go beyond the defender. So you still need to be patient. You can't just kick the ball off the pitch and expect your classic number 10 to make runs. It's not going to work. It's exactly the same thing, but they're more likely to run into open spaces beyond the defense. Now, here we go. The CMF position that requires, with these adjustments, the CMF position that requires high level contribution in build-up and defensive scenarios will no longer be eligible for this playstyle. So classic number 10 only works in Cam now and SS. Right. That's good. So now they're more of attacking. There we go. So they only work in SS and AMF now. Again, I'm not really talking about match level. I don't play offline, so I can't vouch for that. Right, okay. Implemented adjustments so that teammates will drop back and receive the ball if a player in possession is free. Right. Again, that was a main thing on possession. So for possession players, your players would drop back and move into space, but it seems that now on that anyone can do that on any play style. I'm looking if there's anything that's important. Again, I don't use any of those, so I can't talk for that. Fouls. Fairer foul. I can't. The fouls thing is very 50-50 in my opinion. I've seen stuff given where like your controller would vibrate and you're in the box and he tackles you or he like trips you up, but because your player doesn't fall, it's not a pen. But I have seen situations where he trips you up and then it's a given as a pen, even though it's standing, but I can't really speak on that. Oh, it says adjusted the position of players in matchups. Now you see, I barely use matchup, so I can't speak on this. I don't know if it's like they've nerfed matchup, so they've nerfed the assistance of matchup, or they've buffed it, maybe like a wider range of matchup. So normally when you press matchup, it would activate like when a player was in a certain radius. But now I don't know if the radius is smaller or larger. I have no idea. I have to test it out. Again, the fixed issue where team press may not be triggered in rare instances, even if a call for pressure input is active. Now, this is very weird because I don't know this. I don't know much about this, but I do know if you put counter target on a player, if you press second man press or your call for pressure, that person would not run. It would never select a guy to press who has counter target on them. So I don't know if that's been fixed maybe, but yeah. If you have counter target on a player, if you press R1 next to that player, the AI will never pick him to press. Again, set pieces, I'm not really interested in that. The only problem I had with set pieces was the guy manually moving their player in front of your guy near post. They haven't fixed this, by the way. the issue where a player, when they made contact with each other, actually they have fixed it. But when your player, when you did a 1-2 with a player and your player tries to make a run beyond the defense, if the opponent's team player was literally beside you, once they made contact, the player you were controlling or set on a run would stop. I don't know if they fixed that, but it does seem that they might have fixed that, because there were certain situations where just because I'd get a little nudge from the opponent AI, my player will stop running for the 1-2. I hope they fixed that. But yeah, that's all the gameplay adjustments. I'll probably make another video on what I think of the players they've added and stuff like that. And then I have some of them, so I'll just show you right now. I have a Delict, and most of them, I'll give you my thoughts on some of them. But yeah, today was the first video was just on the patch. Stay tuned. Peace.